Peace, peace. This your host, Selah Shalom, and this is the Cosmon Teachings and the Words of Jehovah and His Angel Ambassadors from the Cosmon Bible Owaspi. And this is the Trinity Series Part 5, and the topic of discussion today is called the Trinity Wars of Japheth, or China, among the false Trinity god ENNOCHISSA. Now, God's Book of Esdras, chapter 23, verse 1 through 20, it states, ENNOCHISSA said, according to the splendor of a kingdom, so is the ruler thereof glorified. This have I learned. Therefore, Eteshang, which is the name of his heavenly kingdom, shall surpass all other heavenly places. Thus spoke he before his lords. Verse 2, Vazista said, thy lords are of the same mind. As for Luamung and Kabbalictes, they are more bent on the affairs of earth than of heaven. Verse 3, ENNOCHISSA spent 200 years in building and beautifying his heavenly city, Eteshang, employing more than 2,000 million slaves for that purpose. Verse 4, and as to his heavenly place, and the place of his holy council, in grandeur and magnificence, the like had not been before in any of the lower heavens. So that means he had a bad heavenly kingdom set up. Verse 5, the circuit of the columns of fire, of which there were 1,000,000, was equal to half the breadth of the land of China. In the front of his palace were 400,000 archers and pillars, and leading upward to the foot of the throne, 70 rises, in parentheses, stair steps, with the breadth of 1,000 lengths. In front of the archers was an arena, 4,000 length across, and this was ornamented with 100,000 fountains of fire and water, interspread here and there. On the walls and arches were hanging gardens of flowers and drapery of gold and silver. Verse 6, and as to the workmanship displayed, it was so fine that no language can convey an idea thereof to mortal understanding, except indeed it be said everything was represented that is on the earth and in the heavens thereof. Verse 7, the officers of the palace, next in grade below the holy council, the lords, marshals, and recorders, were generals, captains, inspectors, surveyors, receivers, and builders. Of these were all above grade 90. Verse 8, and there were maintained within the palace arena 500,000 essenors, which are the musicians, and trumpeters, 4,000,000 fire and water servants, and 3,000,000 bearers of burdens. And yet, besides these, there were 6,000,000 caterers and servants. Verse 9, only officers of rank could cross the arena or approach the arches by walking upright. All others had to crawl on their bellies in approaching the throne, saying prayers the while. And you could find this custom in some of the lands of China and India. Verse 10, now, although the other truants had great capitals and palaces, they were not to be compared with ENNOCHISSA's. Verse 11, thus labored this truant, even to the neglect of his earthly dominions. Verse 12, and it came to pass that God, Jehovah's Son in paradise, sowed the seed of faith in China in favor of the Creator, so that by the end of 200 years, nearly all the spirits of the dead went not to the truant, but to God in paradise. Verse 13, and God's angel missionaries went into this truant's heavenly kingdom and won many converts to Jehovah. Verse 14, so that ENNOCHISSA discovered indeed that his heavenly kingdom was losing ground. Verse 15, thereupon he resolved to enter the field of war and to destroy all mortals in China that worship the Great Spirit. And he also resolved to drive out from his heavens all angels who believed in Jehovah, or who were missionaries unto the kingdom of God, true God that is. Verse 16, of all the truants, ENNOCHISSA was the first to declare war against Jehovah, which was exactly in opposition to his own profession when the confederacy was first formed. Now he is the first truant angel to go against his word as far as not declaring war against the faithless of Jehovah. Verse 17, from this time on, ENNOCHISSA was called by the faithless in heaven a false god. Verse 18, as yet the other two truants had fought more for Jehovah than against him. Verse 19. After this, both mortals and angels in China knew no peace. And when no war existed between any two or more cities or states, and the people were Jehovians, ENNOCHISSA, with his 100,000,000 angel warriors, obsessed such mortals and plunged them into war to make them destroy one another. So you can see the power that these angels have to influence mortals to get their will done on earth or in heaven. Verse 20. From these scenes of horror, turn ye now and learn of the kingdom of God, Son of Jehovah. And with that, I'd like to say peace and blessings and catch you on the next documentary called The Story of the Prophet Sakaya of India. And it is this prophet Sakaya that Kabbalistes, the false truant, falsely assumed to be, along titling himself Buddha. But this I will explain in videos to come. Shalom.